Destiny Payton and Melody Sherry were once the type of friends you couldn't imagine apart. They weren't just co-stars on Love and Marriage, Huntsville, they were each other's safe place. Through divorces, personal struggles, and all the ups and downs that life and reality TV could throw at them, they seemed like they had an unbreakable bond. If you saw one, you could bet the other was close by. But somewhere along the way, that sisterhood hit a wall. And not just a small bump in the road, it was a full-blown collision. The kind of falling out that leaves people wondering how something so strong could break so badly. It didn't happen overnight. There wasn't just one big fight that ended everything. Instead, little cracks started showing, and slowly those cracks grew into something impossible to ignore. At first, it seemed like just a natural drift. Life was busy, schedules didn't match, and maybe the friendship simply ran its course. But the deeper you look, the more it seems like something or someone might have been working in the background, making sure the two never found their way back to each other. The signs were small at first. Missed calls. Skipped events. A vibe that felt off. Destiny began to feel left out and overlooked, especially when Melody didn't show up to her divorce hearing. For Destiny, that wasn't just an empty seat in a courtroom, it was a loud message that her friend didn't have her back when it mattered most. Then came the reunion episode, the moment everything that had been building quietly exploded on camera. Destiny finally confronted Melody about disappearing without warning, and Melody didn't hold back. She admitted she felt drained from always giving more than she was getting in return. But it wasn't just about mismatched effort. Her tone hinted at something deeper, that Destiny had started getting too close to people who weren't exactly Melody's friends. One name stood out in particular: Letitia Scott. Melody and Tish's relationship had always been complicated. From the very start, there were subtle jabs, passive-aggressive comments, and an undercurrent of competition between them. So when Destiny and Melody began to drift apart, Tisha saw an opportunity and she took it. Suddenly, Tisha and Destiny were everywhere together. Posting selfies. Attending events side by side. On camera, Tisha was calling Destiny real and loyal. To the casual viewer, it looked like two women bonding over shared experiences. But to anyone paying close attention, it seemed strategic. Destiny was vulnerable, fresh out of a marriage, trying to navigate single motherhood, and adjusting to the pressures of reality TV. Tisha knew just how to slide in, offering support while also positioning herself closer to Melody's former right-hand woman. To many, it looked less like friendship and more like a calculated move. Destiny maintained that she wasn't choosing sides, claiming she stayed neutral. But fans noticed the shift. She was joining Tisha on trips, showing up in group settings that excluded Melody, and sharing laughs with someone Melody had openly clashed with. Screenshots began circulating online, and whispers turned into accusations. Some claimed Destiny was sharing Melody's private business with Tisha. Even though Destiny denied the rumors, the damage was done. Melody wasn't just losing a friend, she was losing someone she once considered family. And Destiny wasn't just losing a friendship, she was getting caught in one of the most talked about feuds the show had ever seen. But here's the twist: what if Destiny wasn't the villain people painted her to be? What if she was simply caught in the middle of a much bigger game? Behind the scenes, production rumors started swirling. Insiders claimed producers knew the feud brought ratings and they were feeding it. Certain cast members who brought more drama were allegedly given extra screen time. And it didn't escape notice that Destiny and Tisha were suddenly getting more confessionals than ever before. If that's true, then what viewers saw might have been a mix of real emotion and careful manipulation. The feelings were genuine, but the situations? They could have been pushed along by people who had something to gain. For Destiny, the shift in public opinion was brutal. She went from being seen as strong and transparent to being labeled messy and opportunistic. Social media turned on her. Every look, every comment, every silence was dissected. Memes popped up, painting her as the snake in Melody's story. Still, Destiny had her own truth. She spoke openly about her emotional struggles, the toll of going through a divorce on camera, running a business, and raising a child alone. She admitted she felt abandoned and went into survival mode. Viewers, however, rarely saw the moments when she was vulnerable or hurting. The cameras caught the fights, not the healing. In those moments of isolation, Tisha was the one reaching out. And when you're struggling, even help from someone with questionable motives can feel like a lifeline. But Tisha wasn't done. Just as things began to quiet down, she made a move that pulled another person into the storm, and this time, the cameras were rolling. The reunion set was tense from the moment they walked in. The lights were dim, the atmosphere heavy. Everyone seemed ready for battle. Then Carlos King decided to stir the pot. Turning to Melody, he asked, "Do you believe Destiny ever truly had your back?" Melody didn't hesitate. "I believe she did until she didn't." That short sentence landed like a bomb. The room shifted. Destiny sat still, her face unreadable, but her eyes gave her away. There was hurt, anger, and disbelief all mixed together. Instead of a screaming match, what followed was a quiet but cutting exchange. Melody explained she felt betrayed not just by private details getting out, but by the alliances Destiny formed. Destiny fired back, saying Melody vanished when she needed her most, making her feel discarded and disrespected. Then Carlos turned his attention to Tisha. "You didn't become Destiny's friend until after the fallout, correct?" Tisha smiled like she'd been expecting the question. "People grow apart. I was there when Destiny needed someone." But Melody wasn't buying it. "You were never her friend, you were her plan B once I was out of the picture." That line made the room go still. For just a moment, Tisha's polished smile slipped. Viewers caught a flash of irritation, maybe even guilt, before she quickly recovered and shot back, "Or maybe people just get tired of being your yes men." And that was the spark. Accusations flew back and forth. Lines were drawn deeper. By the end of it, there was no sign that any of these relationships could be repaired. For fans, it was more than just a TV feud. It was a painful reminder of how quickly trust can be broken, and how, in the world of reality television, the line between friendship and strategy is often razor thin. The whispers about production interference were already swirling, talk of storylines being pushed, situations being stirred, and drama being stretched just for ratings. Some claimed producers encouraged certain conflicts so the cameras could catch bigger reactions. Then there was the rumor that Melody believed Destiny was getting paid more whenever she brought tension to the show. Destiny denied it every time the topic came up, but her body language told a different story. She looked uneasy, shifting in her seat, like the weight of the question was heavier than she could admit. When Carlos King asked the cast point blank, "Do any of you feel like you've been used by the show's producers?" the entire room froze. No one said yes. No one said no. Instead, the silence hung in the air, louder than any shouting match. You could see it in their faces, the tug of war between telling the truth and protecting contracts. Between exposing the game and staying in it. Then Carlos pulled his last move. The big reveal. He rolled unseen footage, a private conversation between Destiny and Martel that never made it to air. In the clip, Destiny poked fun at Melody's music career, laughed about her playing the victim, and dismissed her struggles. If it had come from a stranger, maybe it would have been brushed off. But from someone who used to be her closest friend, the sting was different. When the cameras cut back to the reunion set, Melody's expression was unreadable. No tears. No yelling. Just a cold, steady look that said everything without words. The silence in the studio was thick enough to cut. Carlos turned to her. "What now?" he asked. Melody didn't look at Destiny. Her eyes stayed forward. "There's no going back," she said simply. Destiny stayed quiet. She didn't jump in to explain or try to change the narrative. Maybe she was tired. Maybe she knew the damage was permanent. Or maybe deep down, she understood that this moment had drawn a line that couldn't be erased. And then, when it seemed the tension couldn't get any heavier, Kimmy spoke up. Calm. Gentle. But clear enough to make everyone stop breathing for a second. "We can't keep shouting black excellence while tearing each other down for cameras," she said. It wasn't a long speech. It wasn't delivered with drama. But the weight of it landed hard. Even Tisha shifted uncomfortably in her seat, as if the truth in Kimmy's words cut through the game they'd all been playing. By the time the reunion wrapped, there were no hugs for the cameras. No forced apologies. Just three women sitting with the pieces of what used to be real. The laughter they once shared was gone. The inside jokes were gone. What remained was fame, ego, and wounds too deep to patch up in front of a studio audience. In the end, each walked away carrying their own version of the story. Destiny, now the cautionary tale of how quickly a friend can become the target. Tisha, the strategic player who knew how to step into the right space at the right time. Melody, the lone wolf protecting her peace at any cost. The sisterhood didn't survive, but the fallout became unforgettable television. The kind of moment fans talk about long after the credits roll. And maybe, just maybe, that was exactly what the people behind the cameras wanted all along, not a happy ending, but one that kept everyone watching. If you liked this breakdown, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a story. Celeb Nova will have it all covered for you. See y'all in the next video. This is Celeb Nova, where the drama ends, and the truth begins.